polls can be taken, and obviously I've been very fortunate to have so many great opportunities over the course of the last year, and I know there's going to be so many more great opportunities for me to come. So I'm pretty sure I'll be in a three-point competition for everybody to watch at some point. Not everybody needs to freak out.
One team, one player, and way too many scandals. If you haven't been keeping up with the WNBA, you're missing out on the drama of the decade. For some context, Team USA, which was supposed to be a lineup of the country's top players, just got defeated and embarrassed by a regular WNBA team. But wait, it gets even wilder. Guess who masterminded this defeat? None other than Caitlin Clark, the very player Coach Cheryl Reeve snubbed for the Olympic team. What you're about to witness is one of the most controversial events in WNBA history. It's easy to say this is a story of pride, jealousy, and prejudice. This event was so rigged it made the basketball world question the very essence of fairness and foresight. In this video, we'll dive into the hidden truths behind the scenes, the dramas, and the scandalous aftermath of this event. But before we get into all that, remember at the start of the season when Cheryl Reeve went on her outburst? The WNBA was hyping Clark and showcasing her games, while the Lynx's games were only available on the team app. Reeve ranted about how the league is more than just one player, posting jealousy-fueled tweets like that. Then, we saw the controversial Olympic team selection where Clark didn't make the roster. The handling of it was a disaster. The selection committee gave a ridiculous reason, claiming they were afraid of how Clark's fans would react if she didn't play much, as if leaving her off the team entirely wouldn't cause a bigger backlash. All this drama led up to a game that was nothing short of extraordinary. But before we get into the game, check out who we have here. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the two sensational rookies, teaming up and putting on a show against the Olympic team. Who would have thought we'd witness two of the biggest rivals play side by side in the WNBA? What a day to be alive. And it only gets crazier when you find out Angel Reese was pretty excited about being on the same team as Clark. In fact, Angel Reese shocked the world when she said this.
All at the same time.
Yeah, we haven't had that talk yet. Obviously, everybody can cheer for both of us for one day, so it's just going to be cool. So I'm excited. This is going to be first of many. I know we're going to be all-star teams together in the future.
At least someone finally recognized that Caitlin Clark is such an exciting player in the game. On the flip side, Cheryl Reeve firmly stood by her decision to exclude Caitlin from the Olympic team. In the All-Stars pregame interview, Reeve was asked if she had any second thoughts about Clark not making the team. Her response, she said this.
From me? No.
It's a pity Cheryl Reeve doesn't seem to like or respect Caitlin Clark. For those of us who follow Clark, we know how incredible she is. Earlier this month, she put on a show against Reeve's team, scoring 17 points, grabbing 3 rebounds, dishing out 6 assists, and making 2 steals. Most importantly, her 10 points in the crucial fourth quarter helped the Fever win, and the support from the Target Center fans showed just how much impact she's making. It's not just about talent. Clark has been displaying incredible maturity in her games. She's no longer hesitating on shots or forcing impossible passes. It's becoming obvious that many teams are trying to keep her out of the game, but she still finds ways to make an impact. She's playing smart, knowing when to attack and when to distribute passes, proving she deserves to be among the best in the league and that the Olympic team should have reconsidered leaving her out. Clark's influence on women's basketball is huge, even beyond the sport. Since joining the Pro League, she's boosted TV ratings, merchandise sales, and game attendance. Once again, she proved why she's the undisputed Rookie Player of the Century with her performance at the All-Star Game. Right after Cheryl Reeve's pregame comments, Clark made sure to make her eat her words. In the WNBA All-Star Game, Caitlin Clark had another chance to prove her worth, and she seized it brilliantly. Her performance was nothing short of spectacular, setting the rookie record for most assists in an All-Star game and making a statement with a remarkable pass to Aaliyah Boston, all while Cheryl Reeve was being interviewed live. Team WNBA, with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, not only played well but beat Team USA. The team Reeve assembled, full of stars like Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu, and Brittany Griner, lost to the rookie she underestimated. You could see Reeve's determination to keep Clark from shining, picking her up all the way in the backcourt. While Clark only scored 4 points, she played an impressive game with strong defense and racked up 10 assists, just one shy of the All-Star Game record. Cheryl was so focused on neutralizing Clark that she let Clark and the WNBA All-Stars steamroll Team USA. Despite the Lynx having a solid season, things haven't been going well for Cheryl Reeve. Clark might not have had the best shooting night, but she showed why she's considered the best passer in WNBA history, breaking the record with 10 assists in an All-Star Game. She stunned everyone in the stands with an amazing pass while Reeve was being interviewed. Clark also helped Angel Reese put up a record-breaking performance, setting her up to become the first rookie to get a double-double in a WNBA All-Star game. Reese dominated the game, grabbing 11 rebounds and scoring 12 points. Clark's assist to Angel Reese was a clear statement that the two WNBA rookies are just as comfortable working together as they are facing off as rivals. This new angle of the play shows just how perfect their chemistry is. Just take a look at this pass and finish from the duo. That was electrifying to watch. It looked like they'd been playing together for years. Reese seemed pretty excited after the game and said,
"So cool. I know when she gets the ball, I'm running to look for the ball because I know she's going to throw it. So she's been great to play with."
The mutual respect between these two rising stars clearly shows what we already know. These rookies are here to shake up the league. You might have noticed how reserved Caitlin Clark was during the game. It was pretty evident that Cheryl Reeve was trying to hold her back. Even though Clark didn't score many points, she used her skills to set up plays and impact the game. With the Paris Olympics just around the corner, the controversy over Caitlin Clark's omission from the Team USA roster is heating up. This match seems to have intensified the debate, especially as Clark continues to shine in the WNBA and emerges as a strong contender for Rookie of the Year. Her exclusion from the Olympic team becomes even more questionable given her dazzling performance. This display of talent might force Reeve to reconsider her stance on Clark's Olympic spot, despite her previous claims of having no second thoughts. However, with the game so close, it's hard to imagine a last-minute change. For now, we'll have to watch the Olympics without Caitlin Clark and hope for her involvement in the coming season.
The question in that everybody knows that the reason why our teams around the league are having sellouts are because Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are coming to town.
Many of you probably already know that Caitlin Clark put on an amazing performance against the Lynx. Seriously, she just took over the last quarter of the game in a way that no one saw coming. But wait, it gets even better. After the game, Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve admitted that Caitlin Clark and the Fever are the reason why the arenas are packed. The same Cheryl Reeve who left Clark out of the USA team is now recognizing her impact on the league. That's quite a turnaround, isn't it? At the start of the season, Caitlin Clark wasn't selected for the USA team, which surprised many, including herself. But instead of feeling down, Clark used this as motivation. Since June 8th, right after this decision, we've seen a different Clark on the court. She's playing at an insanely high level and is already being compared to the best players out there. Remember what Clark said to Christy Sides after not being chosen for the USA team? They woke up a monster. Looks like she was right, huh? Her performance since then has proven it. Caitlin Clark is playing with a mentality that reminds us of greats like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan in terms of competitiveness. Her attitude on the court and the way she handles pressure are catching everyone's attention. Many people are saying it's something rare to see in the WNBA. Now, let's talk about the game that really put an exclamation point on this whole story, the matchup against the Minnesota Lynx. Clark simply dominated the last quarter of the game, showing exactly why she's considered one of the best rookies in the league, not just this season, but possibly of all time. Her performance was so impressive that even Cheryl Reeve couldn't ignore it. For those who don't know, Reeve is not only the Lynx's coach, but also the coach of the USA team, the same team that left Clark out. And what happened after the game, Reeve practically admitted that Clark and the Fever are the main reasons the WNBA arenas are packed. This is huge, folks. We have a highly respected veteran in women's basketball, recognizing the impact of a rookie. And it's not just a casual compliment. Reeve is essentially saying that Clark is changing the game, attracting more fans and attention to the league. Clark's performance in this game wasn't just about the points scored or the assists distributed, it was about making a statement. She showed Reeve, the league, and all of us that she's ready for the big moments, that she can lead a team, make a difference when it matters most, and yes, fill the arenas. This game against the Lynx could very well be seen in the future as a pivotal moment in Clark's career. It was when she proved without a doubt that she belongs not only in the WNBA, but at the highest level of women's basketball, and she did it against the coach who left her out of the national team. But now let's dive into something important this season, the race for Rookie of the Year. This competition has been pretty tight, especially between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Until about 5 games ago, it was almost neck and neck. Angel Reese was having an amazing season with an impressive streak of double-doubles. She stood out as an elite rebounder and a solid defender throughout the season. On the other hand, Caitlin Clark has been exceptional. She leads the WNBA in assists and ranks high in other important categories like steals and rebounds for a guard. Clark has also had standout games against top teams like the Liberty. However, in recent weeks, we've seen a shift in this dynamic. While Clark has maintained her high level of play and even improved, Reese has faced some challenges. She's been dealing with increased defensive pressure, which has affected her performance. Another important factor in this race is team performance. Clark's Fever has significantly improved, while Reese's Chicago Sky has faced more difficulties. It's important to note that this Rookie of the Year race isn't just about individual stats. Team impact, consistency throughout the season, and the ability to shine in crucial moments are also key factors. At this moment, many analysts are putting Clark as the favorite for the award. Now let's dive into another hot topic, Caitlin Clark's prospects for the USA Olympic team. Earlier this season, Clark was surprisingly left out of the national team, which caught many off guard. So how might her stellar performance this season affect her future chances with the national team? It's important to understand that the USA women's basketball team is one of the most competitive in the world. Established and veteran players usually have priority, and it's rare for a rookie to make it straight to the Olympic team. However, Clark's case is challenging these norms. She's dominating on the court, and with 2 national team players currently injured, there's a chance she could be called up to fill a spot, similar to how Derek White replaced Kawhi Leonard on the men's team. Clark's performance this season can't be ignored. She's not only leading in key stats like assists, but also having a transformative impact on her team and the league. This kind of influence is exactly what coaches look for when assembling an Olympic team. Moreover, Clark's ability to stand out in important games and handle pressure is crucial. The Olympics are the ultimate stage in sports, and Clark has shown she can shine when the lights are brightest. Another point to consider is the evolution of the game. The USA team could benefit from Clark's dynamic playing style and long-range shooting ability, especially with current trends in international basketball. While the final decision on the Olympic team roster is still ahead, Clark's performance this season has undoubtedly put her in the conversation. She went from a surprising exclusion to a candidate who can't be overlooked, highlighting the impact she's had in such a short time in the WNBA. The WNBA season is far from over, and a lot can still happen. Caitlin Clark has set an incredible standard, but the big question is whether she can maintain this level of play for the rest of the season. The Indiana Fever still have crucial games ahead, including direct matchups with teams competing for playoff spots. The pressure on Clark will increase as each game becomes more important. How will she handle it? Additionally, other teams in the league are surely studying Clark's game and looking for ways to contain her. Will we see specific tactical adjustments to limit her impact? And if that happens, how will Clark and the Fever respond? The Rookie of the Year race is still wide open. While Clark seems to be leading now, Angel Reese or another talented rookie could still make an impressive final push. Every remaining game will be crucial in this race. And let's not forget about the Olympic team situation. Every performance by Clark is closely watched by the national team coaches. Will she be able to maintain this level of play consistently enough to force a reconsideration of her inclusion in the team? Finally, there's the broader impact on the WNBA. Will the Caitlin Clark effect continue to attract more fans and attention to the league, or will the excitement diminish as the novelty wears off? All these factors create an incredibly exciting and unpredictable end to the season. Every game, every play, and every decision can significantly impact the future of Clark, the Fever, and the WNBA as a whole.
Diana Taurasi, a well-known veteran in the WNBA, has stated that her selection for Team USA was due to her 3 championship wins. This suggests that she thinks Caitlin Clark isn't fit to play in the Paris Olympics this year, as Clark hasn't won any championships yet. This statement seems to reveal a less flattering side of Diana. Let's compare Taurasi and Clark, especially given Taurasi's belief that Clark doesn't meet the standard for Team USA. It's evident now that Caitlin Clark's scoring average surpasses Diana Taurasi's when doubled. Taurasi has 3 NCAA championships to her name, while Clark hasn't won any, mainly because she was part of a star-studded team that won those titles. Both Clark and Taurasi have each earned 2 Naismith Player of the Year awards. Clark was an AP All-American throughout all 4 years of her college career, while Taurasi achieved that status 3 times. This WNBA season, Clark's stats are comparable to Taurasi's. Clark is averaging 16.8 points per game, slightly ahead of Taurasi's 16.3. Taurasi has notable rebounding stats for a guard, with 4.5 rebounds per game, while Clark averages 5.3 rebounds. The real difference lies in assists. Clark averages 6.3 assists per game, while Taurasi records just 1.1 assists. Clark's numbers are reminiscent of Taurasi's rookie season, where Taurasi averaged 17 points per game, just above Clark's current 16.8 average. This comparison highlights a troubling issue. Diana Taurasi's comments and Team USA's selections may not reflect the league's best talent. At 42, Taurasi's performance in 2024 doesn't measure up to Caitlin Clark or other WNBA players. It's worth questioning the rationale behind her spot on the roster. As the stats reveal, Caitlin Clark matches Diana Taurasi in scoring but surpasses her in rebounds, assists, and shooting percentages from both three-point range and the free throw line. The same trend applies when comparing Clark to Kelsey Plum. While Plum scores slightly more points, Clark leads in every other statistical category. Sabrina Ionescu's numbers tell a similar story, showing Clark's superior overall stats and game sense. Clark's achievements at Iowa are also more impressive compared to Taurasi's record at UConn. The Iowa Hawkeyes have reached the Final Four twice recently, thanks to Clark, while UConn won 3 titles with Taurasi and 6 more since she left, including 4 with Breanna Stewart, who succeeded Taurasi. UConn managed to replace Taurasi with an even better player. It's uncertain if the Iowa Hawkeyes will find a player of Clark's caliber again. Regarding the supporting cast, the only other Iowa Hawkeye to join the WNBA, besides Clark, was Kate Martin, who was drafted after attending the draft to support Clark. In contrast, Taurasi played at UConn with Sue Bird, a #1 pick and one of the greatest WNBA players ever, as well as Swin Cash, who won 3 college titles and 3 WNBA titles, among other first-round picks. Clark, despite facing a South Carolina dynasty with players like Camila Cardoso and last year's #1 pick, Aaliyah Boston, in her final college years, had a tougher supporting cast to contend with. Don Staley recognized Caitlin Clark as one of the greatest of all time, commending her for raising the profile of women's college basketball and accurately predicting she'd be the top pick and a strong presence in the WNBA. However, when it came time to support her statements and elevate women's basketball on the global stage at the Paris Olympics, Staley showed little interest and kept Clark off Team USA. While Caitlin Clark handled the situation gracefully, Colin Cowherd expressed his disapproval on FS1's The Herd last week. He pointed out that Caitlin Clark, who isn't considered one of the top 12 to 15 WNBA players, didn't make the Olympic team. Cowherd drew comparisons, noting that Christian Laettner wasn't among the top 100 NBA players but still made an Olympic team, and Jaylen Brown, a top 15 player, isn't on the upcoming men's Olympic team. According to Cowherd, talent alone doesn't guarantee a spot on the Olympic team. Politics play a significant role. Cowherd emphasized that Olympic basketball team selections, both men's and women's, have always been subjective and political. He cited Isaiah Thomas's exclusion from the team because Michael Jordan didn't like him. Cowherd believes that leaving Clark off the team is a missed opportunity. He argued that Clark would not only attract viewers to the women's Olympic team, but also boost her teammates' earnings and endorsements. He highlighted that the WNBA Finals drew 700,000 viewers, while the draft featuring Clark had 3 times as many. Cowherd compared Clark's potential impact to that of sports icons like Tiger Woods and Muhammad Ali, suggesting that she has been instrumental in putting women's basketball on the map. He emphasized the importance of seizing big opportunities, lamenting that women's basketball missed this wave to continue its upward trajectory in viewership and engagement. Cowherd stated that Clark could triple TV ratings and mentioned how the NBA would love to have a domestic star as popular as her. He pointed out that Anthony Edwards, who isn't as good as Jaylen Brown, was included on the men's team, highlighting the inconsistency in selections. Later in the episode, Cowherd spoke with Philadelphia 76 head coach Nick Nurse, who agreed with Cowherd's views but offered a different angle. "It's a mixed bag," Nurse said. "I can hardly believe it. I agree with you that the ratings and everything else would soar if Clark were on the team, but in a way, I'm happy for her. The pressure she's faced, taking Iowa to national championships twice, is immense. At least now she doesn't have to endure another round of intense scrutiny and pressure." Nurse wasn't alone in his surprise over Clark's exclusion from the roster. On FS1's Speak, Joy Taylor expressed her shock at the decision. She explained that there are 2 factors influencing team selection: who best represents the U.S. women's Olympic basketball team and what would best grow the sport. Caitlin Clark is drawing attention, sponsors, filling seats, and sparking conversations. From a marketing and business perspective, you can't ignore the numbers she's generating, Taylor said. She framed the issue as a business decision and noted that from a marketing standpoint, leaving Clark out was a missed opportunity. It's conflicting for me because we need to focus on the sport itself, not just the novelty, the drama, the ratings, the religion, the politics, and the race, she added. Paul Pierce echoed Taylor's sentiments on FS1's Undisputed, saying that excluding Clark was a business misstep for women's basketball.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Caitlin Clark has become a key player for the Indiana Fever, just as everyone anticipated. Her influence on fans and both on and off the basketball court is boundless, showing no signs of slowing down even after more than a year. Caitlin bravely tackled the high expectations of women's basketball, from setting records to leading her Iowa team. She dealt with tremendous pressure, media scrutiny, and sponsorship commitments. Now, as she moves into the WNBA, new opportunities are on the horizon. Her sponsors remain loyal, and with graduation behind her, she can fully focus on her games. Clark's impact goes beyond her personal achievements. Her success in college has opened doors for others, inspiring a new generation of players. While she'll continue to attract attention, her journey symbolizes a broader rise for women's basketball. Promising talents like Rhea Jackson, Camila Cardoso, and Angel Reese are ready to further its growth.
Right now, Caitlin's just excited. Everyone pretty excited, and we're going to see her facilitate, really get the ball down to the post to Boston and the rest of her Indiana Fever teammates.
Yeah, and I think she's going to have a much easier time.
Caitlin Clark is more determined and motivated than ever as she embarks on a journey where pressure turns into opportunity, a lesson she's learned throughout her sports career. With her new teammates at Indiana Fever, she'll take the game to new heights, leaving a lasting legacy both on and off the court. It's clear that Caitlin's path won't be easy, given the high expectations from her teammates and fans across the USA. However, she's got something akin to her right arm that she believes will make her life easier. This signifies that Clark is ready to make a powerful start to her professional basketball career alongside standout center Aaliyah Boston. The prospect of this star duo hitting the court together is not only thrilling for fans, but also exciting for Clark herself. In a recent interview following her draft on Monday night, Clark couldn't hide her enthusiasm about teaming up with Boston and the new dynamic they plan to create.
Obviously going to an organization that has, in my eyes, one of the best post players in the entire world. That's my point guard eyes just light up at that, and obviously Aaliyah's been one of my teammates before, so I'm excited. I can't wait, but yeah.
Aaliyah Boston is set to be a game changer for Caitlin Clark, boasting impressive stats from her rookie year, an average of 14.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and 1.3 blocks per game in the 2023 season. Boston's impact is clear, and Clark emphasized Boston's accolades, including winning the WNBA Rookie of the Year award. Her remarkable 40% three-point shooting adds another layer to the team's offense. With Boston as a reliable option off screens, Clark expects her playmaking abilities to flow more smoothly, potentially elevating the Fever's offense to new heights. As one of basketball's brightest stars, Caitlin Clark received a WNBA contract that the top 4 players of the Indiana Fever enjoy, being the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. Her 4-year contract is valued at $338,056 as per WNBA regulations, meaning the first 4 picks received the same contract value and equal pay. During her senior year at Iowa, Clark earned an estimated $3.4 million from name, image, and likeness deals, ranking among the top NIL earners thanks to partnerships with brands like Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm. As she steps up to the professional level, Clark is expected to maintain most of her sponsorship deals. Her portfolio supports her in securing such privileges in the contract, leaving Iowa as one of the greatest college basketball players ever. Clark's legacy is cemented with records like the most career points in NCAA Division I history and winning prestigious awards like the Naismith Player of the Year. In a surprising twist, Iowa women's basketball star Kate Martin visited the draft to support her teammate Caitlin Clark. Amidst the cheers for Clark, there was a sudden eruption of shock and joy as Martin's name was called in the second round by the Las Vegas Aces with the 18th overall pick. Martin's face lit up with surprise and joy as she heard her name, with her Iowa teammates and coaches rushing to her side in celebration. Martin, overwhelmed by the support and recognition, couldn't help but smile and laugh, especially with her friend Clark's approval. Not only did Clark dominate on the court, but she also drew in new fans, helping to expand the sport's reach. The management of Indiana Fever valued her experience, as her impact was evident in the record-breaking viewership of the 2024 National Championship game between Iowa and South Carolina, watched by an average of 18.7 million viewers and peaking at 24 million. This marked it as the most watched basketball game since 2018. The Caitlin Clark effect is now taking the nation by storm even before she hits the professional courts. She is influencing the overall basketball game, inspiring young players, and making a historic impact in the world of business. Interestingly, the general manager of Indiana Fever, Lynn Dunn, welcomed Clark with excitement, noting that her impact isn't restricted to the city, but expands beyond to the franchise.
Indianapolis is going to have a huge impact not only on our city, but our franchise too.
Shortly after Caitlin Clark was selected as the first pick by the Indiana Fever in this year's WNBA draft, fans flooded the southern part of the Gainbridge Fieldhouse concourse. They eagerly lined up to buy Clark-related merchandise, including shirts, hats, and jerseys. However, the demand was so high that the merchandise sold out within an hour. Even the Indiana Fever were caught off guard, announcing on social media that Caitlin Clark jerseys were temporarily out of stock due to the overwhelming demand. With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, Caitlin Clark has proven to be not just a force on the court, but also an economic powerhouse. The impact of the Caitlin Clark effect is evident in both Iowa and Indiana. Matt McGann of the Daily Iowan highlighted Clark's influence, revealing that her impact goes far beyond her scoring abilities. A study by the Common Sense Institute, CSI Iowa, found that Clark's presence significantly boosted attendance at Iowa's women's basketball home games, injecting millions into the state's economy. Amber Mason Lucan, a CSI board member, praised Clark for elevating women's sports and putting Iowa on the map. Attendance at home conference games skyrocketed by 2.8 times since Clark arrived in Iowa City, with nearly 15% of fans now traveling from out of state to catch her in action.
As long as you can remember.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just dream big, and obviously I went to the University of Iowa. I'm from Iowa. I kind of just bet on myself, and I always believed in myself. And I think that's the biggest thing from a young age. My parents always instilled confidence in me.
As the Hawkeyes clinch the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament, analysts predict a historic run for Clark and her team. The excitement isn't just on the court. Ticket prices for women's games have surged, surpassing men's ticket prices by over 50%, showing the high demand to see Clark's brilliance firsthand. Wherever Clark goes, fans follow, bringing business opportunities with them, from small local shops to large corporations. Businesses are gearing up to meet the demand for Clark memorabilia. Clark's impending WNBA declaration promises even more economic growth, with franchises and companies ready to capitalize on her popularity. By implementing innovative manufacturing and logistics solutions, businesses can stay ahead of the curve and meet the demand for all things Caitlin Clark. Despite the big jump from college player to pro and the massive public admiration, Caitlin has remained down to earth and humble, making her an even bigger star both on and off the court. As women's sports continue to thrive, Caitlin Clark stands as a symbol of excellence, ushering in a new era for women's basketball.